with Grace Stubbings, who is the musician behind this week's Relax video, Glitch Beach. And Grace has kindly agreed to have a chat about her inspirations and passions, of which there are many. Just to name a few that I know of, you're part of a really cool girl group called Venus Girls. I was listening on Spotify earlier. And We Make Sounds, which is a community project with young people. And also you've got a passion for, I'm sure, lots of other things, but in particular there's also deep listening, which is the first time I've ever heard of deep listening. So I'd be really interested for you to explain, for someone who's never heard of it, what deep listening is.
So I came across deep listening at university when I was looking up a lady called Pauline Oliveros. Her work's really interesting, and it's basically, in brief, about being really mindful and present in all the different sounds that are going on around you. So being just present and tuning in. So it's in the name, deep listening, I guess, deep listening to your environment. So a lot of this practice is what I use in my workshops and my own freelance work, because I do compose and produce alongside Venus Girls. So I'm really into like meditation music, relaxed music, and that, sometimes that goes with film and poetry. It just sort of depends who I'm working with. One of the main things that I use is a Zoom recorder. So I'll go on sound walks. So I'll go to like the beach or woodlands, and I'll take a Zoom recorder and just record all the environment. And in the workshops that We Make Sound, that's a lot of the stuff that we do for the young people. And I go to primary schools and things as well, and talk a bit about deep listening and get them to go outside into nature, no matter the weather, and just listen to their environment.
That's amazing. Yeah, I saw that on the We Make Sounds, that dipping things in the Tee Valley
Oh yeah,
River.
yeah. So that was with hydrophones. Yeah, we did a piece based on the River Tees, and it was all to do with sort of like noise pollution, but also biodiversity. And it was really nice to work with the young people. And it was the first time that I've used a hydrophone. So it was really interesting, all the different sounds that you can hear that you can't hear, well, on the surface. There's loads of different critters that they all communicate in different frequencies. And David, who ran that session, he puts it through, I can't remember what software he uses, but he basically shifts the pitch. So certain creatures that communicate in frequencies that, you can't hear with the human ear, you can pitch shift it, so you can actually, put it like higher or lower, and then you can listen to what they sound like. So we did a bit of that.
That's
So
so cool. I imagine the whole process actually is very satisfying, from going out to recording to then editing afterwards and discovering these new sounds that obviously you couldn't hear at the time.
yeah. And also just in the moment, because there's loads of just different kind of sound like out of this world, very like sci-fi sort of sounds that
That's
I'd
cool.
never heard of. Um, as well, that you could hear there and then you've got like the boats going past, and you could just hear how loud they were and horrible the sound was. And he gave a talk about how noise pollution gets in the way of these frequencies, and the way that a lot of these creatures are communicating gets into their frequencies and interrupts that. So that's the whole issue that's going on in the water.
That's very interesting. And so, what would your advice be for someone to, don't know if combat is the right word, because that's quite got an aggression behind it, but say you're living in a city and, constant noise pollution just everywhere. I was talking about this with another artist as well. Like, what would you do with those sounds as someone who would react potentially, with anxiety with that amount of sound around you that's not natural?
Well, I used to live in a city. I lived in Leeds quite a few years, and I worked there quite a lot with the band because that's where we're based. Um, but to be honest, it's even interesting just going into the city and using the Zoom mics. That was one of my first walks that I did, was in the city centre in Leeds with the Zoom. Um, and I think it's that like focusing on like a certain sound. Sometimes I guess it's because you're putting your mind to something rather than like your anxious thoughts. It might help just focusing on that sound and getting sort of lost and captivated, because when you really sit and listen to a certain sound, you can just get lost in it, and you can start to hear things that usually you would just pass off. And as well, when you become present and mindful of all the different sounds that go on around you, you realize the different layers as well that's going on that usually you might just block out on your everyday.
Yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily would help
Yeah, for
block
sure.
out the sound, but sometimes it's about embracing your environment. And I guess if you're used to living in a city, that is just sort of your sound world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to obviously go to, like, I'd always have like that room that I'd escape to where I'd be a bit more relaxed from the city, or finding parks as well, because you'll find wildlife there, and
Yeah.
be a bit more of a quieter zone for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a really good point. It's a thing about embracing where you are rather than trying to escape, and reframing that relationship with the sound, because of that. One of them, the walking meditations that I do, if I'm in nature, but I would be interested to try to do this. I've never tried to attempt to do it with like urban sounds, is with bird calls. Obviously they're communicating with each other and they're all over the place, and to listen to it is one thing. It's just a myriad of sound everywhere. But then to try to focus on one particular sound of a bird, and then and then a second one after that, and then the third one, you can begin in your head actually starting to map out where these birds are, and
Mm-hmm.
they're calling to each other, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I have quite a few friends in Norway, so I went over there.
Oh, amazing.
We were staying in Oslo, so that's, a city, and
Yeah,
she lived in a bit more in the suburbs. But one day I just went out for a walk by myself, and I just like sat down on a rock, and I think there were woodpeckers, and I was just sat in a space. But like I did exactly that. I was really listening, and then in my head I could sort of be like, right, there's one over there. I could sort of tell where it was before I could see it,
yeah,
and I just sort of did this like exercise, and then I would like try and find them if I could.
yeah,
Um, and that was just like a nice, yeah, I guess being present and something relaxing to do. So
yeah. That's cool. And can I ask? Obviously, this happened quite a long time ago now. How you kind of came across Syntropy along with Megan, um, and I just wanted to kind of get your feel of what you think about Syntropy, and in terms of the well-being and the art, and obviously it's well in sync with your visions as a musician, an artist. So yeah, what kind of made you want to submit to Syntropy?
Megan sent me the call out, and we've collaborated quite a lot in the past because she does a lot of visual work, whereas I do the sound. And we've actually done a project before. It was in lockdown. It was just sort of off our own back. We decided to create this space, and like I said, I did like the location recording, and wanted to have this like room, but online, where it was all like mindful and as if you're in nature, but not. I guess it's that juxtaposition. So it was really nice to sort of see an app that's doing that.
Mm,
Bringing visual and sound, because it is so powerful. Because if I can't sleep, I'll put like an ASMR video on, and it's all to do with like the sound and the visuals. I really like the scalp checks. I find them so relaxing. um, so to see like an app doing that, and working and collaborating with loads of different artists and musicians like all around the world, it was just really nice to see that's going on. Like you said as well, very in line with like all of the stuff that I do, and that I enjoy as well. So it just seemed like the right call out, and
mm.
yeah, we were both really happy to collaborate and put something towards Syntropy and see if anyone gets anything out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you. And can we talk a bit about Venus Girls then?
Yeah.
So so you say you produce the music, but you also, what's your role in there then? Are you the
um,
singer as well? Or?
with Venus Girls, I'm the synth player, but
Okay.
also like a writer. Like we write collaboratively. And then business side, I do a lot of the admin, like bits of social media and stuff as well. But
Oh,
yeah, when
well
it
done.
comes to like the creating, I'm the keyboardist.
Sweet. That's so cool. I think it's always my friends are always trying to get me to join a band. I think it's one of those I know there's quite something so special about first like just jamming with your friends. And I know what Peace Girls is, it's far more than like to actually do something with it as well. But yeah, it's really nice to see like an empowering female group.
Yeah, no, I've always tended to collaborate with women. Like I collaborate with anyone, but
Yeah,
it just means that I've been in a few like all girl groups. One of my first bands, we were like a proper riot girl band.
cool.
And yeah, we're best friends, and it's just amazing. Just being able to, travel and perform, and just every milestone means so much to us because
Yeah.
we've like literally worked from like the ground up. We've all met at uni as strangers, and then very like DIY, like grassroots, and then as time's gone on, we've kind of built this like team around us. Um, so yeah, wouldn't change it for anything.
Oh,
I
that's
love
very
that.
inspiring. So you do you tour around the UK?
Yeah, so we do a lot of touring and we play like festivals. So we've got an agent. We started working with him in lockdown.
Oh, cool.
He's great. He's called Liam. He's like just I won't go into all of it, but yeah, like he's great. And yeah, we're just like a really good team.
Oh, I'll have to keep an eye out if you're ever playing in Birmingham. I'd love to come.
We have. We've played in Birmingham a few times in the past. We played 3 times. Yeah. So
Yes,
yeah,
very good. You'll be hopefully returning then.
yeah. Like,
Cool. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, great. Thank you so much for your time, especially when you're not feeling too well either. It's really appreciated.
thanks for having me and working with me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Hopefully we can do more stuff in the future.
Yeah.
Really love your sound, and yeah, you've got it's I can easily see the visuals that could match up with something like that ethereal and sonic. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks.
All right, sweet. Well, I'll let you get on with your day, and thank you again, and I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Grace. Take care. Bye.